Hi, my name is John from Car Inspections Dublin, and today I'm just going to do a little review of the cars that I've done recently, um, just to give you an idea of what goes on when I do these inspections. Well, I suppose the first car I'm going to talk about is the Range Rover Evoque that I did, and this Evoque was a 2015 Evoque, 136,000 miles on it. The car was being sold cheap because the seller thought there was something wrong with it. Anyway, I had to go out and look at it for the buyer, and I went out and had a look at it, and the car was running and driving 100%. Um, Plugged in the computer, and something in the region of 30 faults came up, which is low for a Range Rover Evoque, believe it or not. Usually there's a lot of faults on it. Anyway, it turned out the car was running and driving 100% perfectly, and there was a few little faults like the windows weren't working, and the DPF had been removed. Now, the customer got this DPF removed on the advice of her mechanic because she was trying to drive this diesel car around the city of Dublin, and the DPF kept getting blocked up, so she had it removed. So this kind of gives you the idea that you don't need a 2 litre diesel Range Rover Evoque if you're only driving in the city. It's just the wrong car for that. You really need a petrol car. I've done other videos on this subject, but if you're only driving in the city, you need a petrol car, not a diesel, and you certainly don't need a big expensive car like a Range Rover Evoque, which costs a lot of money to keep maintained. The maintenance cost on an Evoque is, 3-4 times that of a normal car. And then if you're driving it in the city, it's even worse. So there's a lesson to be learned there. Make sure you buy a car to match your needs, not what you think is nice. A customer bought the car and is delighted with it. Next couple of cars I'm going to talk about is a customer. He had €12,000 to spend, and he wanted to upgrade because the mileage on his own car was getting a bit high. So the first car we went out to look at was a Golf Estate. 2015, 110,000 kilometers on the car. I checked the car over, couldn't find anything wrong with it except the air conditioning refrigerant was a bit low. So the seller agreed to top up the refrigerant in the car. So nothing eventful on that particular car. However, the customer didn't like the car, and um, we went out to have a look at another car, and that car was a Volvo V60. Similar spec car. It was a petrol engine automatic. Now, these Volvos, they have basically they run on the Ford engine, and this I know from experience that these Ford engines in this particular make of Ford engine has some problems, and the transmission has problems on the same car. So I was wary of this car because it would have possibly a coolant problem, and I was wary because it might have a transmission problem. So anyway, we took the car out, beautiful looking car, very low mileage car, absolutely mint condition, and took it out for a drive. And I noticed a little harshness in the transmission on the test drive. Took it for a good test drive. Customer loved it, thought it was a beautiful car. Really was mad keen to buy this car. It was nice. And because of my suspicions, anyway, I plugged into the computer and had a look at the faults. Now, this car was a Japanese import, and when the cars are laid up on the way over from Japan and sitting in docks and so on and so forth, the batteries always go flat in them. So what happens is, because all the batteries go flat, it kicks off all the red lights on the computer, and so plug that in, and again, I think somewhere in about 25, 27 faults came up. So I went through all the individual faults and um, highlighted the ones I was interested in. So it turned out I checked it, went straight into the transmission control unit because I was suspect of it. And sure enough, I found a speed sensor anomaly. So that kind of killed the sale anyway. But then I went back into the cooling system, and I found a short circuit on the cooling system. Maybe what you don't know is that these modern cars have electric cooling systems. The water is pumped around the engine by motors and valves. So anyway, this particular car, even though it was absolutely gorgeous and very low mileage, it was failed on both the transmission and the possibility that the engine coolant could um, fail. So that car was a reject, and I have to meet the customer again when he's going to select another car, because he didn't like the drive on the Golf, which is fine, you know. So right, another car I had a look at was a Peugeot 2008, 2018, 170 kilometers on the clock. This car was for sale, and it was a bit tattered, dent in the bonnet, dent in the front bumper, but the car was cheap. Had a look at it, and the dashboard was lit up like a Christmas tree. So followed all the faults back on the computer, and found that the timing chain was stretched, and that's why it was throwing up all the faults. So the car it doesn't actually have a timing chain, it has a timing belt. But anyway, the timing belt was still giving trouble. The readings were not matching each other, so I'd say it's already slipped at least one tooth on the timing belt. So also the same car, the rear suspension was banging around the place, so it really needs two shocks on the bike as well. I also, the car, if you go around the back and you put your finger in the exhaust pipe and run your finger around it, you'll see a deposit of soot, and that deposit of soot is from the engine burning oil. So that engine needs a complete rebuild. It will go again, that engine. It can be repaired, and it would make a good car for somebody who's prepared to put some money into it. So anyway, that's what I can think of right now at this minute. That was interesting. What else is there? That's nothing interesting. Everything else is routine. Anyway, I hope this video helps you. To number one, select the correct car for your needs. Now you can always give me a ring and tell me what your needs are, and I'll try and help you select the model and put you in the right direction. And also with my inspections, you get a free history check, which also can tell a story. Now I'll do another video on history checks and tell you how to read them properly. You can also tell a lot from a car from MOT or NCT passes or failures. You can look at the readings and tell how the car is by some of the readings. I'll go through that in another video. But anyway, thanks for watching, and if you need your car professionally inspected, it's 120 quid. Give us a shout on the phone, you get straight through to me, and I'll do what I can to help you. Thank you for watching.